Okay, we're going to continue our look today at the Preferences project section, and this time we're looking at milestones. So again, if you've seen the other videos in this series, we have a pretty standard list here, fully customizable. You can add to it or remove from it, and basically create a customized list of any milestones that you may be interested in tracking within your projects. So the program will come pre-populated with a standard list of milestones, as you can see here, and we can even say whether or not we want each of these to be considered active at any given time. Generally speaking, you will want all of them to be active. But where are these actually found? How are they used? So they're actually found in the Projects module, on the General tab, and then on the Info screen. We can see here right next to our project context, as we looked at a couple videos ago, we have our project milestones. And they're pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot to them: a date, a name, a status, whether it's pending or achieved, and then a corresponding calendar entry if you need it. That is not always needed, but if you do need it, it is there. And then also a convenient ability to not only add from preferences the defined milestones, but you can also ad hoc a milestone. So in this example, we've deliberately ensured that not all of the milestones that we have defined in preferences are actually added to this project currently. So perhaps we were redesigning them, thought, well, maybe we don't need this one, and we changed our mind. Whatever the reason, we can very easily just go to Add Milestones, and we can see on our list here, and we'll notice that this drop-down will actually only show us those ones that are not already added to begin with. So we could simply just pick one and add it, or we could just go Add All, and we'll see that it will in fact add all of those that were not already there, that were defined in our standard preferences setup. We can select the date, and we can set the status, and then click our little Update Item Description, which is a little bit misleading, but this is actually our Save button. This is actually a picture of an arrow pointing into a hard drive. So we can save all those, or we can ad hoc one. So how do we do that? So very simple. Instead of existing milestones, we just go to Custom. We say Custom Test Milestone, and we go to Add. And then we get our custom milestone. And that way we can ad hoc whatever we need should we happen to need that functionality. And then of course we can report on these things at a later date. That's pretty much all there is to milestones. Project teams. So this is one of the more important screens in the program. So it's these teams which are used to populate the team on a new project upon its initial creation. So by default, the program will come preloaded with a team called All Active Employees. And of course there won't be anyone there, because on a brand new install, of course, you won't have any employees in the system yet. But in this case, we have in fact added all of the users that we wish to from our list of employees that we have in this particular database. So the idea here is that we can create a team, add whichever people we want, or just add all of our active employees to this list, set their roles, set their billing rates, their approval authority, and then this will be the exact team that will be automatically defaulted to any new project that we create. Saves us a whole lot of time and effort to prevent us from having to add all those people one at a time every single time we create a new project. Also, to point out on the team, we also have these active and add options. Well, what do these actually do? Well, active is straightforward. Is this team active or not? Meaning, in the places throughout the program where you can select a team of employees, do we want this to be one of the valid choices? And in almost every instance, yes, you will want it to be. The add one, probably not quite as obvious, but what this actually does is says, amongst all of the teams that we may have listed here, and there may be more than one, which teams do we actually want to have automatically added to a new project? We may have 3 or 4 different teams here, and we may not necessarily want the all active employees team to have all its people added. What we can actually do is we might say, okay, well, let's create one team for all of our employees, one team for only people that work on commercial projects, one team that is people that only work on school districts, etc., etc. And then what we can do is turn all of the ads off. And when we make our project, we can then go into our team screen and we can say, well, let us just pick. We may not necessarily know ahead of time what kind of project it's going to be. So let's just create the project, and then based on the type that we set it to, we can come in here and say assign team, and then it will actually give us a choice, and we can just pick from one of those teams, and those people will be automatically added and populated. And then of course we can also come in after the fact. Perhaps we have added a new employee. We just hired someone, and they are going to be on one of our standard project teams, and they now need to be added to all the existing projects. It's important to note that generally speaking in ArchiOffice, preferences are not retroactive. So if we hire Joe Smith today, and we come into our team screen here and we add Joe to our all active employees team, that's a good thing. We need to do that, and that will ensure that Joe is added to new projects moving forward. But how do we add Joe to every project we already have? We don't want to go through every project manually one at a time and add him to the project team. There could conceivably be hundreds of projects. That's a waste of time. So we can just come up and say assign project, and we can say add to projects by type, and we can say, for instance, okay, well, we want Joe to be on all of our commercial projects, and hit OK, and then the entire team will actually be added. Now, it won't duplicate users. Anyone that's already on the project's team that's on this list, they won't get added again. But Joe, being our new guy, he's been added to this team, so he will be added to all those projects. So very quick and easy way to set up a default to save you a lot of time in the setup creation process. And that's pretty much all we're going to look at with milestones and teams in this video. And in a future video, we will continue our look at preferences projects and check out our other screens.